that envies my sin.
Oh, what's in the box?
Not till you give me the
What's in
gun.
the fucking box?
Oh, I forgot to turn the GIF off. Welcome, everybody, to a What's in the Box. I am your host, Death Metal Hero. And with me, I've got Anthony Figaro. And we are talking about God's Hand because it has arrived.
It's a beautiful thing.
It's a beautiful thing indeed. So what's going on, man? How you doing, Anthony?
I'm doing good. I'm doing better. I'm doing I'm doing good, man. I'm better than I deserve. And it's good to see packages arriving, you know.
Absolutely. Fulfillment of hard work, man.
Man,
You know?
dude, it's something. Like you said, it's, I don't know, for myself anyway, I can only speak for myself. You spend so much time, specifically if you're writing and drawing and producing and you're managing and you're pre-production, post-production, you spend so much time like in the trenches that when the product comes out and people start to get it, man, you almost are numb to it because it's, you know what I mean? Like it's almost like it's surreal. It doesn't dawn on you yet. You know what I'm saying? That it's there and people are getting it and you know what I mean? Like, it's like you start to see it, but even in that, it's like you're wondering, like, man, is there something else I got to do? You know what I mean? Because there's always something else that pops up on you and goes, oh shit, we ordered the shirts and most of them came in and some of them we had to reorder, and it's just like, holy shit, when those, and I didn't realize this until the books came in, and when the books got to my house, I got them, man. I opened them up, man, and took some pictures and stuff. And I was so excited to see them. And when I got home, I was exhausted. I mean, I was exhausted. And I was like, God damn, what the hell? And a friend of mine goes, did you breathe yet? And I was like, damn. I'm like, I didn't even realize I've been holding my breath this whole time.
Oh, wow. You
know what I mean? Because you just, you're so concerned when man, I went through so much to get them produced, and then to get the books, you're like, well, when they get here, are they going to look right? Are they going to, how many are going to be damaged? Like, is it going to be, is it going to line up right? Or is the cut going to be right? Is the cover's going to be right? Is the texture going to be right?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Did I miss anything? Did I leave anything? You know what I mean? And then you get them and they look good. You know what I mean? You're like, oh,
yeah.
You know what I mean? And you're exhausted, man. Like, holy shit.
It's a lot of emotional up and down. I mean, this is something you've cultivated and you put together and you're manifesting into this book, and you've put all the work you can into it. You set it up for the printer, and then it is in it's in the printer's hands to make sure that it comes out the way you intended it to. So all of that, the cutting, the binding, all of that stuff,
all of it.
It's a hell of a thing, man. But it's a beautiful thing when it comes together, and
it is.
Obviously, it's one of my favorite things.
It's funny because it's like you get to that part, and then you go, oh, that's right, I got fulfillment, and
now I gotta pack this shit up,
and then you get into this whole, which is anybody who does it will tell you it's a learning curve as well. Because you think in your head, okay, I'm going to do this, and this. And it's like, you just don't know until you actually start doing it. And you go, okay, finally you get your little workstation worked out, where it's like, it starts to become, okay, slide this in, and you do. And now, and I did that a few times, and I had to remind myself a few times, man, like, hey man, like, yo man, don't get it twisted, bro. Like this is it. Like, you know what I mean? Like, this part where you're actually doing this aspect of it, this is a victory, man. This is a positive. You actually made something. You actually started with this concept, went all the way through, produced a book, got everything together, and now you're actually packaging this up to send to people who bought it. That's a victory, man. And don't get, you know what I mean? So it was like, don't start feeling sorry for yourself and all that bullshit, because you got to fold some fucking cardboard, man. This is a good thing,
Right? I mean, these Gemini mailers, they're about the same thickness as a comic box, and I've been folding comic boxes my entire life, Yeah. What's up, Justin? Good to see you, J Money. If I can find my mouse here.
J Money, what's happening, brother?
What's going on, man? Welcome. Thanks for hanging out. Yeah. All right. Well, let me go ahead and switch the camera here, and Let's take a look-see at this. Wasn't done this. Also, I should note that this is a bit different of a what's in the box. I've actually never done a what's in the box out here in the library. They've always been in the studio. So this one I had to quick set up the camera up here so I could
there you go.
So I could get this out here.
You want you want to full screen it? So you you didn't want to look at my ugly face. I want to see that product.
Look at that. See, thank you for that. I knew what was in here.
Hey,
so
you're
I
right.
schedule this and not open this. Got a couple of them. I'm like, so who's this from? I don't recognize this.
Right.
So you know, I can't reach out. But yeah, gotta love these Gemini mailers, man. They're fantastic.
They are, man. They really are. That's the other thing. You're like very curious. Like you're gonna be so when you trip out. I cram the shit out of this Gemini. I pushed the Gemini mailers to their limits, brother. I pushed them to the limits, man. But they, I was curious on how some of them, how they mailed and stuff, you know, because that's the other thing. You don't know if people are stacking shit on them or what.
Right. Wow. Just before I even open this, let's take a look at the side here. Look at our boy Anthony. Hell yeah, man! That's how you do it. That is how you do it. All right. Gently, 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 and you know it's just like releasing the clasp on the bra, and then there they go. Look at that. Oh yes. Dude, I'm going to be rocking this the next time I'm at the comic shop, right?
I said, we got you, yeah. They came out nice, man. They really did.
Yeah. Wow. Look at that. Dude, that is badass. That is absolutely badass, man. I cannot wait to rock this. Did you get them printed through a local company? Or,
yeah, the local guy did it for me, man. I try to
better.
Yeah, I try to stay local, man. I really do. You know, I tried to go local with my printing, but it didn't work out. So I had to go through Mix'em, who did an excellent job with the book and stuff. But yeah, local guy did those for me, man.
I used to do screen printing. I was the graphic designer for a screen printer here in town. So I've always been fascinated by screen printing, and I've always loved it, and I've always appreciated good screen printing. And I collect graphic tees. Obviously, I've got my my Death Sworn shirt on. Wore that to the comic shop today.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, you're right.
So I love this shit, man. So I'm always excited when there is a shirt on the campaign. I'm always excited to get one.
I was very nervous about it. I was like, Jesus, I'm like, how the hell are we gonna have to ship this separately and shit? And so I was like, well, no, I'm gonna figure this out. We were watching these people fold shit, and we were like, look, man, my wife's like, look, I think I can fold this up perfectly like this. We're gonna tuck it in and all this shit. I'm like, all right, let's try it. And sure enough, man, it was like on point.
And inside the shirt, look at the beads. Yeah.
That's a Mardi Gras special, man.
Oh, hell yeah, man. Little lobster.
No, those.
Oh, there's a crawdad. I'm sorry. I went to school up in New Hampshire. Sorry, man.
Somebody else did that to me the other day. They were like, man, did you get these from Red Lobster? And I'm like, man, those ain't lobsters. Those are crawfish, bro.
Crawfish,
Those are bona fide Mardi Gras throws, man.
That's awesome. Dude, I've always wanted to check out Mardi Gras. I've driven through New Orleans when I was driving somebody back from Colorado. But I never got a chance to like stay and like look around.
Yeah, it's a
Very,
shame.
very
It's a
interesting city.
shame. It's a shame this year, man. They canceled Mardi Gras. They canceled. They look. They got the police out there basically because they know people gonna show up to go party. They got them running them out of Bourbon Street, running them off the areas and shit because they know they're gonna come out and they're gonna want to party and shit.
Well, yeah, it's unfortunate. Fucking hell. Yeah, I mean, I live in an old city as well. Not nearly as
Yeah, I know where
not
you at,
nearly as much of a
man.
party. Yeah, not nearly
I
as much
know
of a
where you
party
at.
place. Yeah.
I got a partner lives on the island out there.
Oh, no kidding.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Dude, this cover. Oh man, look at all the stuff crammed into the back of this.
Pushed it to its limits, man.
Oh, look at the goodies. All right, let's go ahead and move this out of the way. Dude, that's beautiful.
Those came out really well, man.
Yeah, they did. Wow, man. It's a good full size tarot card as well.
Yeah,
You ever thought about doing a whole deck?
That's probably what we're gonna probably wind up doing is each time for this book for sure we'll put one out, and we may even switch it up and because we did trading cards as well. So I don't know. I may switch it up and just for the stretch goals or whatnot, just add tarot cards so that you can get end up with the whole deck and shit. Because I mean, it's
That
like
would be awesome.
because it's like I think there's like was it 20 something different tarots because it's like you got the Tower and Death and the Partners and I mean there's so many different ones you can do to get a full deck.
Yeah. I've got I got a Red Sonja deck, and a traditional Rider-Waite deck as well.
Mm-hmm.
But I always love seeing the different interpretations. I actually have a Milo Manara deck. But yeah, there's a little mini deck. Found it on Wish of all fucking places.
Really?
So I would definitely be interested in that. That's fucking cool, especially the back of it, man. Now, did you? I mean, how much research did you use to come up with these? Did you do all the graphic design for it?
The sigils and stuff?
The sigils, yeah.
Nah, I pulled a few sigils and whatnot. We did layouts and shit. Basically you use pre-existing sigils and shit. Yeah, I mean, I wish I had the knowledge on Photoshop to make my own. We just pulled some and we, mixed some together and, made our own designs and whatnot and kind of just staggered them the way we wanted them to be.
Well, you're building your own mythology, man.
Correct.
What up, Max Worst? What up, Leg Kick?
How y'all doing,
fellas? Thanks
fellas?
for coming to hang out.
Absolutely.
And the cards. Dude, love it. Cards came out good too, man.
Yeah, they did, man.
I keep saying this. I'm gonna have to get like an actual like binder for the cards because I've got so many cards. Is this not there? We go. Now it's focusing. I've got so many cards coming in with the different campaigns and whatnot that I'm gonna need a place to put them.
Cards are fun to do, man. I mean, they are because again, what you're doing a lot of times is, you know as well as I do that there's most of us who are doing this we're consumers first, we were fans first, and so
Right.
being into the Marvel cards and all that kind of stuff, and making your own, it's weird, man. It's surreal at first because you just, it's like like you're saying, you're making your own mythology, you're making your own stuff. And you're trying to make it to where essentially it's quality wise toe to toe, so that if you held those trading cards up to any other trading cards, whether they're from Marvel, DC, Image, wherever, that they hold up, you know.
Yeah. You know, well, I mean, that's what we're trying to do with all of our products anyway. We're trying to
100%.
You know, we're showing that this is the quality. Come on, camera, work with me, please. There, no. Anyway, yeah, the cards are absolutely beautiful, and they came signed in gold, and I love the write-ups on the back.
Yeah.
So did you do all the writing on the book yourself, or did you have a co-writer? Ooh, metal bookmark.
I had basically a good friend who was an editor, and so basically I wrote all the dialogue, you know, all the stuff like that, and then he would basically make sure that it was streamlined, because I can get wordy. And so I brought him in. I was like, look, man, I was like, just, you know, I said, if this isn't, you know, and I said, I'll let you know when it's like pertinent details that need to be part of the story. I said, but otherwise, if you got to chop it, if I'm repeating myself, and you can say what I said in one sentence and I said in two, then go do it. Do what you do, you know, cut this thing down, because I don't, you know, this is actually the first project that I've ever written. So, you know, I knew that I'm a good concept guy. I'm a real good, you know, layout guy. You know, it's just when you start dealing with dialogue and stuff like this, it's like, yeah, you know, you're trying to find out like how much is too much, how much is too little. And, you know, you learning all that stuff on the fly.
Well, absolutely, and it's always good to have a second set of eyes, you know.
100%.
A different perspective, you know, to give you, you know, help you think a different direction.
You gotta have,
your brain box.
You gotta have a technical person as well. You have to, because as an artist, you know, you're seeing things in a different way, and you're kind of like going, okay, well, I think this is nice and this sounds good, and you're running all this shit in your head, whereas a technical person's like, yeah, but this is off, this is wrong. You know what I mean?
This is the logistics of what you want to
well,
do.
that's what I'm saying. I mean, unless you're dealing with like some of the characters when you read them, like especially Jean Lafitte, like he speaks in a cadence. Well, he has a New Orleans type of cadence, so he's not going to speak in correct English, and that's designed that way, right? If it's not designed that way, then it needs to be corrected. You know what I mean? But if it's designed that he's saying these words in that way, and that's the way he speaks, well, then that's one thing. You know, but if it's not designed that way, it needs to be corrected, you know.
You know, characters have a patois. That's the way they speak, you know. It's ingrained, you know. I mean, we all have a patois, the words we use, our vocabulary. You know? Yeah.
It's in comics, It's hard. You have to be careful in comics. I mean, you really do, because again, you know, because with Lafitte, like I could go real New Orleans, and it's just like it would be like people would be struggling to understand, you know, because I mean, you wouldn't say that, you would say that, DAT, but I mean, you know, if you're saying, look, this is that, and you know, you using the DIS, DAT, it's like that shit can be taxing sometimes to the reader. You know what I'm saying? Because it's like, you know, you're having to pause the natural flow of reading it to actually slow down enough to try to decipher the actual language. And then you're hoping that, you know,
right.
So it's like you pick your shots, you know what I'm saying, on when you throw that in there so that it's enough so you understand that's his cadence, and then at the same time it's not enough to throw you off of the natural flow of reading it. Kind of
like the way Chris Claremont always did, you know, the way he did Banshee,
100%,
you know,
100%.
when he would do his Irish, you know,
100%.
Yeah.
Well, all of them, Colossus, Nightcrawler. Yep. I mean, they had phrases, mein Gott, you know what I mean? And it would, you know, it would have these. So you knew when. So initially, you would start reading it, and you would know that. But again, he didn't write them as if they were actually, you know, speaking broken German and you know, broken Russian and stuff like this. So it's
right.
Good.
They were. You knew they were speaking English, but they were speaking in, you know, a German accent or a Russian accent. Yeah. All right, that glare was bothering the hell out of me. Ooh, oh my God.
Yeah, man, the mat came out really, dude.
I am absolutely in love with that texture.
You probably can't see it on the camera. I know you can, but if you look at it really good under the light, you can almost see like it's got glitter in it. It's very faint.
Huh. Interesting. Like tiniest little flecks.
It's very tiny. It's not. I don't even think it's glitter. It just looks that way. It just looks
I wonder
that
if
way.
that's I wonder if that's a tick of the printing process.
I don't know. It's a good tick to have.
Right? And mini prints. Holy crap! You really did cram a lot of stuff in here, man. Holy cow! Like wow. 2 metal bookmarks.
Well, that other one, flip that other, the purple one over. Yeah, that's a lanyap item now.
Oh wow! Awesome. 7 of 10. Thank you, sir. That is beautiful. Love the design of the villain.
Yeah, it came out really good, man.
I am excited to sit down and read this. Since I haven't been able to be my usual forklifty self and moving lots of heavy things, I've actually taken a little bit of time to just like sit back and read a little bit. It's been
man.
nice.
You got
I've also
to.
fallen asleep on the couch, but but I wake up and I pick the comic book up off my face and I continue reading. It's wonderful.
Yeah, you're right.
You gotta take time. Ooh, okay. We're gonna come back to this. So you got Wolfpack Comics Company. You got other stuff coming out.
That'll be, yeah, we'll be launching. That should be, we'll have the sign up page ready to launch out probably next week.
Hell yeah.
We had it scheduled to come out sooner, but with the problems we had with the printing, because I went through so much with printing. We were late, and so it was like, well, I just felt like we couldn't launch that until people started to get the God's Hand project. Like we just was like, launching a project before people even gotten their books was. I just thought that's just not cool. So we put that in there so we knew people would get it when they got the book, and then if we did videos like this, we knew we could talk about it because it was like, well, these are the books that are coming out. This is what's coming out next.
Right.
So we're looking to probably next week open that up for sign up for a month, and then we're going to launch it. Now that's about 65% finished. So
that's awesome.
Yeah, that one's in the barrel, man.
See, and this is what I love about this scene that we've got going on here. Yo, Curios, what's up? The art is good. What up, everyone?
Thank you, brother.
Fondle it more. Oh, don't worry. We'll get to more fondling, J Money. Don't you worry. The fondling is coming. But I love the fact that there are little publishing houses popping up. It's like the indie comics boom of the 80s. Like I was talking to Adam Hughes in one of my old classic interviews, and he was talking about back in the 80s, everybody with $2,000 and a dream, could publish their own comic book, and like that's the same fucking energy we got going on now.
It feels like it.
We got the magic of the internet, and we can reach out to one another. We can do streams like this. Like without places like shows like Red Valkyrie, I might not have gotten a chance to meet you and find out about this awesome fucking book about everything that I love, like monsters and magic in fucking ancient cities.
No, 100%,
please. Yeah. So I love this. This is what comics have always been about to me. Good product. And the enjoyment of it, the stories. Tell me a good fucking story. I live for good fucking story.
100%.
So this is exciting. Hell yeah. Dinosaur Man.
Now this is my inker. Is Eric Hodson. He did the inks for me. This is one of his projects that he has.
I could hit him with a rock. That's awesome. So more of a comedy series.
Yeah, it's got some tongue in cheek to it.
Ooh. Oh my. I do like that. See, that could be a shirt as well. Probably wouldn't be able to get away with that one at the comic shop, but I can get away with this one at the comic shop. This one I would definitely wear to conventions though.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, this would look fucking badass underneath my battle vest. Just saying. So would that. Fuck, dude. So, how long you been drawing, man? Like, I love your style. I love your style.
I started, I guess it was about 10 years old. Because that's, I mean, I was drawing before that, but I always tell people I was about 10, and me and my friends ended up at a 7-Eleven, and we wound up by the spinner racks, and we were just a bunch of little, just hoodlum kids, and we were like, let's get some comics. I didn't know I got no money, so we just kind of lift the comics, we go home with them. And we, and then we like, oh, let's trace them, we trace them, and all this shit. And then that turned into, well, let's trace them and add shit to it. Let's add a gun and this, that, and the other. And so then it became like a competition between everybody. Then it was like, well, let's see who can copy the image without tracing it. Let's see who can copy it the best. And it just started from there, man. And like I tell people, when I came in, Iron Man was in Iron Wars. Bob Layton was doing Iron Wars with Iron Man. McFarlane was on Hulk. He was doing the Hulk. And let's see, Silvestri was on Fall of the Mutants. They were doing, he was on X-Men. Jim Lee, by the time I came in, Jim Lee was moving into Punisher War Journal.
Yeah.
He was on
He started out on Alpha Flight. Yeah,
by the time I came in, he had it wasn't long before he was on that. And then, man, I was just going to the 7-Eleven for the longest time. And it's weird because it's mostly Marvel. Like I have a lot of those books, man. I still have. I mean, they're the books of a 10-year-old, so they all tore up and shit. And also classic X-Men with the Art Adams covers, man. That was well, we used to trace the shit out of those, man. And that's what I started on. And then it wasn't long, I think Batman came out 89, and that was kind of what got me to find the comic book shops, because prior to that, I didn't know anything about that. And I remember, no, man, I'm telling you. And it was like Batman came out and they did a documentary on it, the movie and everything. And I recorded it on VHS and shit. And I recorded it so I could go back and watch it. And they would show all these scenes from these comic books, right? That, you can't get off the shelf anymore. And I would pause it and I would draw from I'd look at the screen and I would draw from but I would be like, well, where are these books at? How do I get my hands on those books?
Right.
And so that's where it starts coming into, well, those are, my parents explained to me, those are comic book shops. There must be shops that have these things. And it wasn't long after that I went to my first one. It was because I was living in Georgia at the time. I lived in Georgia for like 2 years. And I must have went to my first one. And then, after that, once you get a little bit older, then you can kind of start really moving on your own. And that was it. And then that's what I wanted to do. And so I always, I just stayed drawing, man,
I love it. Yeah, my dad got me into comics. I couldn't even read them. I was like 3, and I don't remember exactly what age I was when I started drawing, but it was early. I just and it's just I would do the same thing. I would draw my comics. It's the inspiration.
100%.
I wasn't even really paying attention to the art up until I guess it was Art Adams when you said that it was like X-Men Annual number 12, I think it is. I mean, you got the so you got the team, they're out in like the outback, but you've got Rogue with her giant hair and her green bodysuit. You've got Colossus, just shirtless. You got Long Shot. You got Dazzler, and then you got Wolverine in his brown and gold costume. But there was the backup issue, or the backup story with the X Babies in Mojo World.
Right.
And I thought that was so cool. And I was like, well, I saw the X Babies in a different comic, and I was like, well, who the hell did this one? This one looks better. And then I looked at the artist, and I saw that it was Art Adams. And from then on, I started paying attention to different artists, and I started picking up on like different stylistic tics and different things like that. It's fun to look at some of the old books and say, all right, those lines, that line work is, it's Lee, it's McFarlane,
100%,
Silvestri,
that was
Tony
the
Daniel,
thing, yeah. That's the thing, yeah. Silvestri, I mean, it was like, I don't know, man. That's one of those things that you instinctively go to, because it's like, there's a lot. I mean, there's a lot of good, solid cats, man. You know what I mean? Like John Byrne was solid, bro. Like he had this solid base to it, and I think he set a tone for a lot of people.
Oh, definitely.
And you could see, and Jim Lee started with that, but then he broke into his own thing. Silvestri was cool because he was the same way, man. He you go back and look at it, and he's got these exaggerated feet and stuff like this, but it's like, but he knew how to basically draw things without drawing them, and I find that to be amazing when I look at stuff, and it's like when you draw that building, it's like those guys, specifically Silvestri was one of them. He was really good at it. It was like he could draw the building and the windows without drawing the windows, without drawing the lines. He used shadows and he used hatching and stuff to create the illusion that something was there, yes, without actually drawing it in. And sometimes if you just look at something that's actually drawn in all the way, it loses something. I don't know, there's something about it, man. And
that certain impressionistic, quality of it. Yeah, no, I totally get what you mean. Yeah.
Silvestri was like that. McFarlane was cool because McFarlane kind of blazed his own path too. He kind of just made up his own shit. He held to there was a certain aesthetic that he held to, that it had to be within this realm, but then he kind of just did his own shit to where it was like, wow, this is really cool, because this is a lot of little bitty details that are again, line weights are pretty much the same, but they're in this interesting way where you're like, wow, I like this. This makes me want to look at it more and be like, wow, look at that, man. Look at the fucking detail on the city behind it and shit like this. And you're just like, wow, that's
it's the
so
shit
those
that makes you want to pour over the page, man.
Those were the ones, man, those were the ones that definitely were my early on faves, man.
Maxworks says, never liked Long Shot, but I saw a cover of Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers. I think he would have made a great Long Shot. Yeah, fair enough. Could definitely have pulled off that kind of like 80s spiky, poofy,
I know,
pseudo mullet thing. I don't even know what the hell is going on with Long Shot.
I know.
There was a really good Long Shot miniseries by oh my god, and Anna Senti. God, I can't believe I blanked on her name. Yeah, Anna Senti wrote a really good Long Shot miniseries that Arthur Adams actually did the art for.
Really?
It was like him trying to make good his escape from Mojo World and like stay out of Mojo World. Yeah, it was a little darker than some of the regular X-Men stuff that they were doing at the time, if I remember correctly. Because it wasn't like a main X-Men title, and it was like I want to say like one of their prestige formats or something like that.
Right.
I could be completely wrong, but I do remember it was like a 4-issue miniseries. Anyway, it was really good, artwork good, but Arthur Adams, those type of guys that put that detail in that you want to just pour over the pages.
100%.
Dude, it feels good in the hand. Here, J Money, you paying attention? Oh yeah, man, I really do love the texture of this matte finish.
Man, it came out really well.
It really feels good in the hand, and you know you can hold it, and you know it doesn't feel, you know, you don't feel like you're gonna mess up the cover by holding it in your grubby little hands. You know,
I
feel
was
like you can actually
man.
read it.
It's yeah,
you know
it
what I
was.
mean?
It was definitely when I picked. I was like, wow, this is fucking. You know, this feels like a fucking.
Yeah.
This feels like a real comic book. This feels like it was a real fucking book. Holy
awesome.
shit, man! Fuck,
This shit's real. Holy fuck,
dude! I'm
right?
telling you, man. I'm telling you.
That's great. A beautiful work, man. Beautiful work.
Thank you, brother.
I am so excited to go through and read this whole thing.
Yeah, and again, you know, I always like constructive feedback. So you tell me what worked for you, what didn't work for you, so I can improve it.
Absolutely. Oh, look at that! Little remark on the inside. That is so badass, dude. Jean Lafitte right there. And signed to me. Hell yeah, dude. That whenever I get anything signed at a convention, it is always to me. You know, like whenever I get anything signed at the convention, it is always to me. Because it's not leaving my collection. You know,
I know you never, and that's the thing, you never know sometimes when you sign and stuff, you like, you know, and it didn't dawn on me till later on. I mean, I did what I did because, and again, you know, there were people like yourself who kind of, you know, really helped me out and really did right by me. And, you know, so I wanted to make sure that, you know, I gave back.
Dude,
man.
That is beautiful. I appreciate the hell out of that, man. Thank you so much.
Yeah, well, like I said, I mean, you can't make it and have this without people like yourself, like you said, that, you know, you, Shay, there's a lot of people, man, who helped out. And
dude, I mean, just
you know,
look at all the hard work you put into this, man. You know, look at all the hard work you put into this. Like, and what I also think is cool is that you're telling a story about the city you live in. You know, this is a story about your city, man.
Oh, it is.
And I'm actually working on a story about my city. So I'm like, yes, I need to check this out. And, you know, just in the brief interactions that we've had, you know, I can tell that we've got a lot of the same kind of influence, the same kind of you know, comics that we've enjoyed and stuff like that, and we dig the same kind of artwork. So, and like I said, I love your style, man. Like this image, I saw that on Red Valkyrie stream, and I was like, oh shit, what's that?
Yeah, man.
I like that. What is that?
So, and then she did such a great job with the cosplay, you know, with the hat and all that stuff. She did such a great job with it.
Yeah. Mad Ruth says, I can't wait to get my hands on this book. It looks absolutely amazing. Congratulations, Anthony. Beautiful
I'm pretty sure. Mad Ruth, let's see. You overseas, I believe, huh? If I'm not mistaken. I think Money's is out too. I think yours is out too, Money. It's weird because
the book?
Yeah, you know he did. He's jealous. He's like, motherfucker, where's mine? God damn it. I think I sent Mads. I'm pretty sure Justin, Jay's and Mads, I think I sent them all. But I think Mads in across the water, man.
He says he's up in Canada.
Okay, well, but I'm pretty sure yours went out, man. I'm almost positive on that one.
Jitsu says this book looks great. I'm glad I backed it. Hell yeah, Jitsu.
Cool, man. It's so weird because you don't know people's names. you don't
right?
know who, you're like shit. Because some people, some of them are, the names are on there, and then I get a cut down list. My wife gives me the cut down list, so I know I have the backer name and the backer number and what they got. So I was making them and stuff. I don't have like the full, because it's if you put everything on there, it's huge to look through all of that shit. She's got it when she's doing the when she's doing all the freaking the mailing info. She's got all that stuff, but so sometimes you're doing it and you're just like, oh shit, and you'll do it, and then afterwards you'll go, well, who was that? And It's like, oh, that's that. Oh shit. You know, you have to go
Right.
back in there and shit like this because it's someone who you wanted to add something for or whatever the case may be. You
Yeah.
know?
Well, I mean, and you learn a lot of things on your first campaign from what
Fuck.
I keep hearing.
Oh, you do.
Fuck.
You fucking do, man. Jesus.
Yeah. This book is beautiful, man. It's absolutely gorgeous. I love the feel of the cover. I mean, I know I've said that a couple of times now, but I can't wait to put it on the shelf with the rest of them after reading it. Just this part right here. I love this part right here. The portals. Anyway, I don't want to spoil anything for anybody. So I'm just gonna. Oh hell yeah! Anyway, yes. So everybody that back, this is what you have to look forward to. Look at this awesomeness, dude. These bookmarks are fantastic.
Those came out really well, man.
So did the prints, the bookmarks, the cards, all this stuff? Did Mix'em do all these, or did you get these printed
so
different?
Each one's different. All that stuff is different. So the book and the prints are done by Mix'em. And a great job. The bookmarks, someone else. The trading cards, someone else. The tarot card, someone else. So
man,
like,
see, this is the amount of work that our boy Anthony put in for us.
I'm telling you,
the
bro.
backer.
I'm telling
Look at this,
you,
and
bro.
look at the quality. Like, I'm holding this in my hand. This feels a real tarot card. The cards are the right card stock. I mean, none of this is cheaped out, y'all.
No,
like,
we
these
went
are
to.
good,
That's what we did.
Prints.
We went to a
Hell
tarot
yeah,
card
man.
place that made tarot. That came from a real tarot card place that made actual tarot cards.
That's
man.
what they do.
That's what they do, bro.
That's fantastic, man. Hell yeah! Like I said, I would definitely be interested in a full deck. That's beautiful. But yeah, this is what you guys have to look forward to. What up, Shay?
What's happening?
It looks so stellar. I
Yours
really
should
can't wait
be
for mine to arrive.
Yeah, yours should be coming in next week. Shay. I had one issue with the shirts. I had to get some of the shirts redone, and yours is. I had to put 2 shirts in Shay's, dude. You know, see the size of that monster pack. You know, see the size of that thing. I had to fit
Shay,
2 of them in there, man.
We're gonna need a picture of that one.
Man, I'm telling you. It looks like I smuggled a cake in there.
Being able to get like an extra large shirt in that Gemini mailer, I am definitely impressed. Like, hats off to your wife, man.
Yeah, we had Shay's had 2. The other one that was tough is I had to put a 4X in one of those. Bro,
holy shit.
Those were rough, man. Those were rough.
That's that is cloth origami there, sir.
Yes, sir.
This shirt is beautiful, man. Wow.
Yeah, I think my guy prints those on, man. I don't think those are like screen print. I think they're actually printed.
Oh, so this is direct to garment, huh?
Yeah, bro. Yeah.
Oh, wow. Direct to garment's gonna come a long way since the last time I saw it done live. This is great. The edges are a lot better than they used to be.
Yeah, man.
They used to have problems with like the fading out the edges like this, and sometimes I saw some in the early days that they would peel up. But this is great, man.
Yeah, I got some made. Oh man, I want to say, because what happened was I made the cover image, and it was just one of those, and it was weird because this is one of those things where you go, okay, well, this character is going to be in the story. Let me draw this out. And I drew it out, man. And I was like, oh, this looks good, And I had no idea. It wasn't planned out, And I brought it and showed it to a friend of mine. He's like, he looks, and he's not even a comic book guy. He goes, dude, he's like, I want this as a shirt. Like, as soon as you get this color, man. And I was like, oh, okay. So, I mean, I got it colored. I showed it to him. Literally, he knows the guy. So, no bullshit. Within 3 days, he had a set of shirts made.
Nice.
Yeah, so I mean, I've had a set. I got one. My son got one, and him and his son got one. For at least 6 months, you know what I mean, and washed it and everything. So I knew I knew what it would do.
Oh, that's awesome.
And so it
So
was like,
you were able to test it out, to see how
yes,
long the print
yeah,
would last. That's great,
yeah.
man. So you knew it, you know exactly what you're sending out.
Yeah, man. Because it's, I mean, that's at the end of the day, I mean, that's what you're trying to do that. I mean, you know what I mean? Like you're trying to say, okay, this is something that I love doing, but at the same time, this
Yeah,
is a business, man. What's happening,
absolutely.
brother?
What's
You
going on,
know,
Zayd? Welcome,
and
welcome, Phil.
it's a business, man.
Yeah,
It's like,
looking
thank
is
you, brother.
hot.
And
Yes, that shirt.
that's it.
That's right. That's right.
So you want to make sure that the product that you're giving the people who are investing in you is as top quality as possible.
Absolutely.
And that's and again, if that's, to me, I feel like, you know that's what you want to do to set yourself apart, to say, look, I'm in this is my business, this is what I do, right? I create this stuff, I put everything I got into it. And the people who are out there, again, because it's not like the old days where you were just going through people, and
Yeah.
it's just like, now it's like, no, I'm going directly to the consumer. So there has to be a level of professionalism, there has to be a level of quality to be expected, that when the people come to me and they get product from me, they know this is the level that we're going to get from this. You know what I mean? Every time.
Dude, and this is fantastic quality. Like I said, like this all feels fantastic in the hand. Like these prints are great. They're crystal clear and they're nice cardstock. They feel good. Yeah, and I can't. I love these metal bookmarks, dude. These are great.
I know.
They're shiny and wonderful, and they're substantial. They're not like the paper thin ones that that they would hand out.
No, man.
Yeah, these are substantial, dude. They're great.
Yeah, those are fun,
So
man.
yeah, I am very excited. So yeah, let's talk about her on a shirt. And just, something like that. If, at some point, because there's a decent possibility I might need another one of those shirts to cut the sleeves off of and use the Symbol of Doom. Just saying, that's
I hear you, man.
that's kind of my MO.
We're gonna work
I got
on
two
that.
Mary Boys shirts, so I could do that.
We're gonna work on that.
All right, cool. I love your shirt printer, man. When you talk to him, tell him you did a damn fine job.
I will, man. I will.
Yeah.
I told him that. I said, look, take care of me. Let me make sure everything is good and all that kind of shit. I said, and because I plan on, I plan on building something. You know what I mean? So it's like, so I'm hoping that if we keep moving forwards, man, that again, grow into something.
Well, see, and that's what this scene is. That's how you make a healthy scene. You have the first people that are trying it out and get attention, and you have other people that are jumping in, and it's talking and communicating, connecting, and sharing our ideas, and then building out from there. I don't know. I like to think of this whole YouTube thing as kind of like a never-ending convention. We've always got, we've got a place where we can have our table, as it were. You put the word out and let people know, hey, this is where you can find me. I'm doing this show. We're talking about this. I'm promoting that. It's connection. That's what we've got versus, having to go physically be somewhere right now. And I don't know, it works. Like we're able to hang out. Like right now, it is storming motherfucking cats and dogs out right now.
Yeah, it is. It's storming over here too, bro.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's probably the same band as shit, to be honest with you.
Yeah, we're close enough that you're probably right about that.
Yeah. But
no, it's good. It's good shit, man. I mean, that's the next phase of the business. It's like, God damn, man. And I know there's a bunch of cats on here who know the pain, but it's like, that's the second part of the thing is it's like, I saw Zayd Comics was on here and stuff. It's like, when you're doing all this and you're promoting and you're writing and you're drawing and you're in post-production and pre-production, all this stuff, it is difficult. It is difficult to then also have to focus in on a YouTube channel and all of that stuff.
Oh, for
but
sure.
It's the next frontier for me. And I think, once we launch the Justice City sign up page, we're going to start focusing in on that as well. And like you said, just start getting a part of the networking aspect of it, so that we can grow that, so that it's, the more people we have in that network, to where, you have something you want to talk about, you can come on my show, I can come on your show, we can go in. And the more people that we have that are actually producing quality stuff, I think that strengthens us as a whole,
Exactly. And that's the key thing there. Quality. The
100%.
biggest thing that we're fighting against is the lack of quality.
100%.
And I work in my childhood comic shop. I've been around this shit my entire life.
That's it, bro.
I've experienced this change drastically, and there is a distinct lack of quality in the writing. It doesn't feel like anybody cares. When I get these books, when I read things like Absolute Book 1, when I read, Brutus the Badass, like I feel like people care. I feel like people care that they're telling a story. They're providing a product, because comics meant something to them as they were growing up. You know what I mean?
That's it. That to me, that is always going to be. And again, of course, you have exceptions to the rule, but I mean, what you're really looking at is, and I can promise you this: the majority of the people who are doing it, who were a part of it, 20 years ago, 30 years ago. Like, it's like, that's the thing. We grew up with this stuff. I mean, it's like, look, and if you want a prime example of it, it's the reason why, if you look at like The Mandalorian, like, it's like, okay, so you have Favreau and you have Filoni, and it's like, these guys, this their jam. They get down with this stuff. We brought in Rodriguez, and he's like, and there's this whole thing where he's like, yes, I took my action figures and I choreographed. Like, it's like, that's because he's a fan. You know what I mean? Because he's been there before anyone, especially with comics, man. Like, you're a prime example of this, because you've been in it for so long. And what you're saying is true, is it's that we were there when no one else was, when it wasn't cool to be there. And so it's like, somewhere in this, it shifted on us, and these people came in and they started telling us what comics are. And it's like, well, wait a minute. Like, where'd you come from? Because I don't remember you being here. You're saying things that I know you weren't here, because, you're saying these things about, I was talking to a guy today, and like, you're saying stuff about diversity and patriarchy and all this other bullshit. And I'm like, well, I was telling the guy today, I said, it's amazing to hear him talk, because it's almost like they make you question your own reality. And I told him, I said, when I came in 87, 88, 89, I said, and at the time, I remember getting this series, and I loved it. Mark Silvestri drew it. It was called Avengers versus X-Men. And at the time, Magneto was, he was good, and the Avengers wanted him because he had war crimes and all this kind of shit like this. And I told the guy, I said, now this is 87, 88, 89 era. I said, you had two teams, two of the biggest teams going head to head. I said, the Avengers and the X-Men. I said, and each team was led by a black woman, Captain Marvel, Monica Rambeau, and Storm. I'm like, so I don't understand this bullshit of, and I said, and I never, as a kid, I never questioned that. I never ever questioned that at all.
Not fucking once.
So I'm like, I think there's there's a false narrative that's being portrayed here by people who weren't even there. They weren't even there in comics to even see this shit.
The stereotype, like the stereotype of like the comic reading nerd that smells funny and it's a bunch of like pimply faced boys and whatnot. And to an extent, there was a lot of that. But the stories that we were reading, like, I grew up with everybody read comics, like, just everybody. Like, the comic shop I go to, that I work in now, like, I've always seen girls coming in. I've always seen, black kids coming in. So this is never been a thing to me. And when they're saying, "Oh, well, it's a boys' club and we don't want anybody," it's like, okay, really? Because like I know at least like a dozen people that can tell you different because they've been shopping at this same shop that I've been going to since I was a kid.
It's
I mean,
but it's so much bullshit because it's like, look, man, I don't know what you're talking about, right now, because I can promise you this, you know, there'd have been nothing more sexy than running into a pretty girl who was in the comics. You know, ain't nobody been like, well, wait, hold on, let's keep the girls out. I mean, I've been like, well, wait a minute, hold on a second, bro. No. Let's bring them in, dude. You know, and it just it's like it's told from this like it's like you said, like it's not real life. Like it's like almost like you're telling some story. And these are stereotypes that you're using as people, and it's like you can tell you're not a real person. Like you're a caricature, because the stuff you're saying, you would, if you were there, you wouldn't be saying what you're saying right now. You're saying some shit that you think you're supposed to be saying. Well, you think because you never saw it with your own eyes, so you're just filtering out what you think was there. And that's how I know you're full of shit, because it's like what you're saying is not true. It's not, I was there. That's not what I saw. That's not what any of these other people who were there, who were still in it, are saying. Well, that's not what I saw either. So it's like, well, where'd you come from, man? Because you definitely didn't come from where we came from, you know, which is fine. But don't tell me my business and then tell me if I don't agree with you that there's something wrong with me. Then it's just like, wait a minute, hold on a second, you know?
Yeah. And see, that's the other thing. Like this whole, it's a gatekeeping thing. Are you serious? Like everybody that I have ever like hung out with in comics is always like, yeah, you know, you're just getting into comics, cool. Read this, read that. This is really cool. What do you fucking dig? Like that's the reality. It has always been, you know, and that's part of the reason why I love working at the comic shop, because people come in like, oh, I've watched the movies, I want to check this out. That's great. Check out this, check out that, you know. So it's never been a gatekeeping thing, but there's a reason why comics have survived as long as they did, because they were about telling good stories and, you know, entertaining the audience before anything else. Yeah, you can have your you know, underlying message, but if you don't wrap it in a good story, ain't nobody gonna give a shit.
That's my look, man. That's my take on it. Like whenever anybody asks me, or whenever I get into the conversation, and it's like CG and what is this and all this kind of shit like this, and it's like for me, my personal opinion of what at the heart of what it makes of what CG and the creators in CG are. Is that because again, some people are like, oh, no politics, and I'm like, I don't give a fuck, bro. If you want to write a story about politics, you have the freedom to tell whatever story you want. I don't limit any of that shit, right? To me, where the real separation is this: if you compromise storytelling because you're trying to tell a message, then you're not a storyteller. You're a propagandist. And that's what you're doing. And you're harming 100%. The craft. If you put your message over the craft of storytelling, you are no longer a storyteller. I am about, so you want to tell a transgender story that runs for presidential office and he's a straight up liberal Democrat, go for it. If you are a good storyteller and you tell a good story and you mix that shit in, and that is secondary to the storytelling craft, by all means, go for it. This is where diversity does improve things, but it improves the craft of storytelling by pushing the bounds of storytelling, by saying, okay, I want to be a better storyteller. How can I tell this message without it being a message? How can I get this out here in a way that entertains you and educates you at the same time? How can I do that? How can I utilize these tools to do these things? Exactly. And that's the point. The point is you cannot put messaging above the craft. And so if you do that, then you're not a storyteller. You're a propagandist, and you need to go somewhere and do propaganda. That's fine. So that's always my thing. As long, I don't give a shit what story you're telling or what's the subject matter, as long as the craft of storytelling is primary. If it's primary, then it's all good. And that's where I draw the line with all that stuff. If you're not a good storyteller and you're just in trying to put these agendas and these messages in there, and that's your primary, well, then you're bad for business. You're bad for the industry. You're harming the health of the industry. You know what I mean? And I think that needs to be called out. And I think that's part of the issue is that, we've lost this ability to say, hey, listen, I don't like your story because I don't think you're a good storyteller. I don't care whose dick you're sucking. I don't care whose pussy you're eating. I don't give a fuck what you're doing. I don't give a shit about any of that.
Live your best life.
You're
telling me a good story.
That's my whole thing.
Making this comic worth my dollar.
That is it, bro. So that's where I'm drawing a line, and I think that's where it's unfortunate, but you where you see it, you gotta kind of at least try to push back a little bit on it. But I think more
criticism, man. When did you lose the ability to have constructive criticism?
It
doesn't make sense.
When you started creating protected classes, right? If you create a protected class, then what happens is, or if you elevate individuals because again, you're trying to promote an agenda versus actual competitiveness, then what you're doing is you're putting people in positions that they never earned. And so they never earned it, so they don't understand competition. They don't understand constructive criticism because again, they've never been in a position to be told that's not good. And it has nothing to do with your skin color. It has nothing to do with your sexual orientation. It's not good storytelling. It's not because I don't understand what you're trying to do here. I do. You're just doing it poorly. And so if you want a spot over here, you need to be able to compete with these people, right? Regardless of what color they are, regardless of what they tell stories about, you need to be able to compete with that. And if you circumvent that system, then what you get is, and if you create a protective class, then what you get is you get poor storytelling, you get poor craft, and then you know what happens. Well, and you disable the ability to refine it. You disable that ability to say, "Hey, listen, you have talent, but you're undeveloped in this area, and you need to develop this." That's why I go into a situation. It's like with you. I know you're into comics. I know you're in a comic book business. So in the comic book shop. So when I go to you and I'm like, "Hey, look, man, read this. Tell me what worked for you and what didn't." I'm serious about that because I trust you've been around this industry long enough that you have an opinion that has value. I want to know what it is. So if I did something that didn't work, I want to know that it doesn't work, man. Don't fucking bullshit me and tell me, "Oh, that's good." And if it's not, tell me, man, because I want to make the best product I can make. So please, by all means, tell me if it didn't work. 9 out of 10 times, you're just like, you know what? I kind of felt like that. Very often it's not, you're just totally blindsided where somebody's like, "That was total crap." And you're like, "Really? Shit, that was like my best stuff."
Really? I was vibing to that. All right. Well, damn.
And usually what you do is you get 4 or 5 people who you absolutely trust the value of their opinion, and you go, "Listen, what do you see?" And if you get a consistent thing, bro, it's like, then you need to address that.
Absolutely.
You really need to address that. Every now and then you'll get someone who'll say something and you'll go, "Okay, gotcha." And then you'll talk to 3 other people and they'll be like, "Nah, I think that was fine." And, and then you're dealing with preferences and tastes and stuff, which is a different thing. But when you're dealing with the actual mechanics, man, like if this didn't mechanically do what it needed to do, then it needs to be replaced with something that can do that, And and again, I don't know how you teach that. You know what I'm saying? In today's environment where you have all this system that is developed now to where it's like the moment that you say or you challenge something, it turns into this motive bashing thing or this, well, you're a bad person. This is why you see it. And it's just like, I don't, you know what I mean? Like, nah, man, like I don't give a, like I said, that's what I'm saying. But that's the problem. The problem is that, in that area, yeah, they're emotionally 3 because they've never been put under the fire to say, "Hey, look, that's not working because you're not doing it properly." Right. No. And there's no, I don't want to hear, "Well, that's just your perspective." It's like, well, I'm the editor that's been doing this for 20 years. So yeah, it is. And it's not working. You know what I mean? It's just not
Currently,
relative.
my perspective
Yeah,
is the
it's
one
like that's what
pertinent.
I'm saying. There's this idea of subjectiveness that's like, look, man, I get you. There is a subjective world out there. However, if you get 100 people together and you ask them to tell you subjectively what they see, and 85 of them say this, then you have an objective truth. That is like, well, of all these cats, 85% are telling us this. That must mean there's some truth to what they're saying, because there's all these people here. So again, granted, subjectively, you can say, well, I think that, if you were this and that, you would get it. And it's like, gotcha, but I'm not those things. And you're telling me in a way that I can't get it. So you're not even putting into account that you're telling something that is nuanced. And you have put no bridges in there for me to get across there to even understand your nuanced point of view. And you think that you shouldn't have to. That's the problem. It's like, you think you shouldn't have to. And it's like, that's the privileged kind of idea of, I don't have to do those things. You have to bring yourself to here to get it. And it's just like, gotcha. Well, you keep doing it.
It's like those writers that like, well, I don't have to adhere to like obscure 90s canon. And it's like, no, you don't have to adhere to every little like obscure bit of canon, but you got to adhere to the actual like width and breadth of the character. You've got to actually adhere to the soul of the character. Otherwise, you might as well be writing something else with a different fucking name.
100%. This is, and I've said this many times. People who ever heard me, they probably heard me say this before. And if you ever get a chance, I'm sure you've heard it, but I call it the Denny O'Neil moment. And it's like, Denny O'Neil's moment when he goes into the deli and the guy sees the Batman pad and he's like, hey, this guy's the guy that's killing Robin. And he's like, he realizes like, yo, man, like I'm just a steward of these things. Like there's, if there's no reverence, if you have no reverence for the source material, man, you know what I mean? Like that should be there to understand that this is a certain mythology that you're dealing with. That you're there to protect it, to respect it, to take care of it, to carry it on with integrity. You know what I mean? And that it's not your just personal sounding board for you to just do whatever you want to do and just say whatever you want to say because you think you have a voice and you think you have a message. It's like, man, like, wait a minute, hold on a second. Like you're saying, then you know what you do? You create your own characters and you make your own message. You don't take things like this that again, people have sank time, effort, heart, soul, money, like all these things into, and then just go, oh, well, we're just going to take it and just do what we want with it. And it's like,
no, that's not how this works.
No, not if you want. Again, not if you want to be. Not if you want to be part of the. How do I want to say this? Part of the. Because I'm verbalizing for the first time. Not if you want to be a part of the actual growth of that whatever it is you're dealing with. You can see it in like. Well, you can see it in. I don't know how I want to verbalize it, because you can see it in like Last Jedi, right? So you have Last Jedi, and so what you have is you have this thing. Well, and again, and you have this thing that steps in, and what it does is it doesn't really. It goes so far against what came before it that in a way that it's like, well, you're not really adding to the mythology. You're not adding to this thing. You're altering it in a way that is not. It's not gelling with this stuff. Whereas if you see like Mandalorian is this thing that goes, again, it takes place in the same universe, but it adds to the mythology, and it doesn't break any of the physics that came before it. It adheres to the physics that came before it in such a way that you're just like, this seamlessly fits into this to where I totally buy this. Like I have, this has enriched the Star Wars mythos. It has enriched it. You know what I mean? And then you do these things where you then tie in these other characters. You know, even though you have Han Solo, Princess Leia, and Luke Skywalker in these sequels, you never feel like wow, that really closed that like that really enriched that character. Like you never feel like that. However, when you watch Boba Fett, you're like, damn, bro, like that is on point there it is, you know. Ahsoka Tano, like it's like these characters, like you know what I mean. It's like all of a sudden you see Luke Skywalker at the end. It's like you have enriched these characters' stories. You have made what came before better than it is now, and it's like, and that's and again, it's holding some reverence to where these characters, where this stuff came from before. And again, you got to be you got to be somewhat a part of it, you know, than just walking on, you know, because it's a popular thing and you get put on it because you're a popular director, you know. And it's like you never really were into this stuff.
Yeah, the Disney sequel, they just kind of meandered. They retreaded some of the same ground. It's basically the same setup, and then meandered around. It didn't really move the story forward at all. So yeah, I watched The Last Jedi 4 times because my name's Luke, and all my friends want to go watch the Star Wars movie with me. By the 4th viewing, I hated that movie. All the plot holes and the wasted potential. I never want to watch that movie again. I disavow the entirety of the prequel or the sequels trilogy. They don't exist. The Skywalker saga ended at Return of the Jedi, and The Mandalorian is just a nice epilogue of the way the Star Wars universe is after the Empire fell. You know,
it's very again. This could be, and it has been talked about, but it's, you know, there was so many missteps that you were just like, man, like you took a $1 billion juggernaut and you almost ruined the shit, bro. Like you almost ruined something. You know what I mean? Like you ruined something to where it was like, bro, lightsabers. You know what I mean? Like, you know, some. How do you ruin this? Like this shit sells itself.
Took a license to print money and basically shot it in the face.
It was just like, it was like, yo, man, like, and it was just like, there was so many bad calls that, and there was no and the course correction took so long, you know. I do think that the last 6 episodes of The Mandalorian did a lot to heal the fan base. And if they can stay in that vein, man, you know what I mean? I think they can really.
I mean, Favreau seem to have a head of steam going, so hopefully they'll get to continue. You know,
I hope so, man. I really do. Yeah. I hope so.
I'm digging what I've seen of the second season so far, and I love the fact that you know that they had such a reaction to. You know, the cameo at the end there. You know? I mean, I don't even care that got spoiled for me. That's cool. You know, I look forward to getting there. You know,
I was one. Look, let me tell you something. That's just how I knew Mandalorian was doing something good, because I don't watch a lot of TV. I just don't. Man. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I'll tell you what. Them last 6 episodes.
Yeah.
Friday morning, brother. I was watching Friday morning, brother. I watched that episode early. You know what I mean? Because I knew something was going to happen at the end. Me and my partner were like, well, look, more than likely they're going to introduce Ezra. You know, they're like this. I'm like, there's no way they're bringing Luke on. That's too early. And Mace Windu too early. I'm like, they'll probably bring Ezra in, bringing in Ahsoka and Thrawn and the ship and everything. I'm like, it's all from Rebels. I said, man. Probably gonna be Ezra, you know. And so all of a sudden you got to see you know, the X-Wing, and you're like, there's no way that's Luke's. There's no way, bro. You know, and then all of a sudden it's like you see the blade and the hand, you're like, get the fuck out of here, bro. You're like, holy shit, bro, you know. And it was just like, man, I knew just in that moment, man, that they gave him, because me and my partner was saying, look, I said, me and Marcus, my partner in Wolfpack, Marcus, and we were like, you know, I was like, you could have made The Last Jedi, right? You could have made it exactly how it was. I said, if you would have gave Luke his Rogue One Vader moment at the end of The Last Jedi, where he walks out on the field, grabs some laser bolts, shoots them back at the walkers, grabs some TIE fighters, throws them around. You know what I mean? Fights Ben, and basically pulls an Obi-Wan Kenobi, like, and lets him cut him down so he can train Rey. I'm like, people would have fucking been like, dude, they'd have fucking freaked out, bro. It'd have been, people would have fucking went crazy over that shit. Yeah. But you did this thing, and it was just like, wait, he wasn't there? Like, why? Like, what was
just poor storytelling?
Why was he not there? Like, what was the?
Because Rian Johnson likes to, subvert expectations. That was
but it's
his grand scheme to subvert expectations.
And, which is cool, Luke. Except you don't fucking do that with a franchise, bro. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's not like you're going, hey, look, I'm gonna make some exotic gourmet meal, and I'm going to subvert your expectations. Like, that's one thing. But you don't fucking have a person who goes, hey, look, I'm going to the steakhouse because I want me a big fat steak. And he gets there and you make him a fucking salad because I'm going to subvert your expectations. I don't want a fucking salad. If I want a fucking salad, I want a salad. But I want a fucking steak, dude. I want to see fucking Luke Skywalker with his green fucking lightsaber. I want to see him fucking do some fucking fire-ass shit. I don't want to see all this other bullshit, motherfucker. Fuck expect all this. And if you're going to subvert it, at some point you got to pay off, motherfucker. There was no payoff. So motherfuckers walked out of there like, what in the fuck was that, bro?
Seriously, why the hell did we not get, like, Luke as a great Jedi, but, now in the Obi-Wan role, and then have him, training a Padawan who then has to confront his, turn to the dark side nephew, and then along the way they find this Force-sensitive former stormtrooper that, like, holy shit, man, Finn had such a great place to start as a character. They did fucking nothing with the dude. They turned him into a fucking comedy side piece. Like, wasted potential. Holy shit.
That was the other thing. I think people were kind of tripped out about that, man, because it was like, nothing is healed with Star Wars.
Yeah, nothing healed with Star Wars.
Yeah, it's gone for 2 years now.
I saw a cover for High Republic in the comic shop today.
Oh man, I heard it was terrible. I heard it was terrible.
I don't know. Jay Money says I blew through Mando season 1 and 2 in 2 days. It was good.
It was good, man. I like I said, I mean, the episode when Fett got his armor back, bro, I was just like, dude, that shit was, that was on point, man. Seriously, it was.
Mom joke, needing to get on top of the target in space. Leia Poppins, 100 years. Reactors running out of fuel. Hyperspace tracking, defend, crate, an empty hangar. Luke dies from exhaustion. Take your pick. Yeah, no, that's a pretty good list of all the shit I hate about that movie.
It was.
Hold on, you know what? In fact, I have.
He's got. I gotta do this. I gotta get myself a little further away from the memory of that thing. I gotta smoke out the memory, man. Make it stop. The horror. The horror.
4 fucking times I watched that movie.
Oh man.
Why not getting a Luke as a great Jedi? Because KK hates Luke, and the hate went over everything Lucas. Fuck those people. Yeah, it certainly seems that way. Like,
yeah. I gotta hope for redemption. I gotta hold out. I got a soft spot for redemption.
Well, you know what? If they actually would use the extended universe stuff, because this extended universe stuff was always, had to go through a rigorous process.
I that was another one of those things that me and Marcus were talking about. We're just like, you're like, why would you do that? Like, you know what I mean? It was like you have these people like you haven't made a movie in 40 years. It's like, or in 30 years. It's like, look, you got, was it 20 years? What was it? 20 years. You hadn't made a movie in 20 years, but yet you're still $1 billion, enterprise. That's because people are still buying books and comics and stuff. So it's like people know what happened to Luke Skywalker after Return of the Jedi. Yeah. People know all that stuff. So to come in and write this shit in a way where it's like, wait a minute, you want us to just flush all that shit out, and then you give us this, and it's like, well, why are you doing this? Like, what the fuck is this bullshit that you're giving us? Because you read that shit, bro, and it's just like, man, I listened to the audiobooks, the Darth Bane audiobooks. It's like, holy shit, bro, that shit is fucking ridiculous, man. You know, I listen to a lot of the prequel stuff, Shadowhunters,
Yeah.
with Darth Maul, and I even did the Obi-Wan one. There's one with Obi-Wan that talks about when he first gets to Tatooine. That's really good. And just
Nice.
Dude, you listen to these, man. You're just like, wow, this fucking shit. This is really good, man.
I
You
love
know?
audiobooks, man. I
There's
absolutely love audiobooks.
There's one dude who does the whoever the guy who he is, he does the Darth Bane series and he does the Obi-Wan series. It's like once you listen to him do it, you'll never want to listen to another Star Wars book. If he doesn't do it, you just be like, fuck this. I don't know.
Dude,
he does, dude. He is fucking in it, bro. He is like fucking dude. I'm like this fucking dude. He makes the experience, man. He really does.
A skilled narrator can elevate an audiobook.
100%.
Prime example for me, Anansi Boys. You know, I really love American Gods, so I was excited about the spin-off Anansi Boys. The book itself seemed like it was a perfectly solid story, but the way the narrator brought all these characters to life, like, wow, just it put it, you know, so much over. I think it had more of an impact on me than if I had read it just on my own. You know what I mean? So I love audiobooks for that reason. Like, I can listen to audiobooks while I'm, you know, mowing the lawn, doing the dishes, you know, or drawing and painting.
100%.
You know?
100%.
Yeah. Well, guys, do you have any questions for Anthony? We're coming up on an hour and a half here, and I know Anthony's got shit to do. So if you guys have any questions, dude, this is so cool. I love these beads, man. Thank you for sending me these
you're right.
beads.
Yeah, you're right.
I love it, man. Everything super high quality. I cannot wait to sit down and finish reading this. Dude, this is some gorgeous work, dude.
Thank you, brother. Like I said, thank you, man. I appreciate, and I appreciate, you know, everything you did helping me out and just promoting and stuff like that. You know, getting the shirt, buying backing it, the whole nine, man. You know.
Absolutely. Well, I mean, like I said, man, this is right up my alley, you know, and all the work you put into it, man. Yes, absolutely. Like this, I needed to back this book. So, is God's Hand a one shot, or can we expect more?
So it's set up to be a three book thing, and so we're gonna do Justice City Chronicles, which, like I said, we're gonna launch the sign up next week, and then we'll have that, and then as soon as that's finished, I'm already starting on the second God's Hand. So that'll be awesome. Once Justice City comes out and everything like this, then I'll start working on promoting God's Hand.
Hell yeah. Do you work traditionally mostly, or do you work digitally?
Traditionally,
my man. Traditionally. I just got a new digital drawing tablet. I've been trying to step into doing some of that. I'm thinking I might. You know, dude, I'm feeling a lot more comfortable with it. It's a Huion Canvas, or however the hell you say it. Oh wow, that word actually just kind of hurt my jaw. Fucking hell. Anyway, it's really good pressure and whatnot. It's feeling a lot more natural. I'm thinking I might, you know, do quick layouts and stuff like that. Do my pencils in you know, digital, print them out because I've got a 13x9 printer or a 13x19 printer, and then, you know, ink traditionally. That way, have an original.
Listen, man. If you can do, I mean, if you're doing ketchup, will the last book have ketchup tier so someone can get? Yes, we will. We do. We're gonna do that. We're gonna probably do a even when we do Justice City, we're gonna because again, because of the printer and everything that went long, I didn't want to leave it open. But what we're gonna do is we'll probably add a tier in Justice City to where you can re-get the book. And then once we relaunch God's Hand again, you'll be able to get the book. I think what we're going to do is on the Justice City, you'll be able to get the book, but you'll only be able to get the standard cover, which is the same image, but it's a red image. And then when we do God's Hand Part 2, we'll re-release the charcoal cover to get, because that's an Indiegogo exclusive. You can only get it to the campaign. So we'll re-release the charcoal cover on the 2nd, so you can order books 1 and 2. But yeah, Justice City will have a tier where you can get the standard cover.
Yeah.
But if you want to, if you want the charcoal and you want to wait when God's Hand 2 comes out, we have some charcoals left over.
Excellent. Yeah.
If you're doing, straight up, like if you're doing original stuff, traditional is the best way to go. If you're doing commissions, traditional is the way to go. Okay. Yeah. If you're doing books like this, I really would love to get into doing digital, because I mean you can't beat the speed, man. You can't beat the laying out the boxes and all that stuff. And then because I'm on a light table, so it's like I gotta draw it, flip it, check it, draw it. Like you do all this shit digitally, man. And it's like shoot. You just like, man, are you gone, man? You going so fast. So I mean, it working traditionally like that has helped me out tremendously when I go to conventions, because I can do original drawings, man, like that. Just roll them out. However, if you're in production mode and you're doing production stuff, it would be hard to convince me that digital, as far as speed goes, is not the way to go. I can't,
I'm digging it so far, man. I'm hoping to lean into it.
100%. Yeah. I need to get that myself.
I definitely recommend. I got it on Amazon, dude. Huion Canvas. It was the 2021. I can hook it up to my phone too.
Cool.
Like I've got a Note 8. Is it? Yeah, Note 8 and USB-C. I can plug it in and I can draw on the tablet, and it uses the drawing app I have on my phone. So I definitely recommend it.
Cool, man.
Maxwell says, thanks, normal cover is enough. I just hope I have the funds to support you guys and get a cool story. Oh, you definitely going to get a cool story, my friend. Definitely.
It is. It was, and we also altered our formats a little bit, because I mean, initially when we campaigned, it was like, we did the standard 52-page book, but me and Marcus talked about it, and we were like, we think from now on we're going to shoot for minimum 60-page, because we want to do we're hoping that we can get into doing the perfect bonds on all our books. So it's like we want to do 60-page story. The book may wind up being 70 pages or whatever. We want to offer 60 pages of story. So when you pay the $25, you know what I mean? Like you when you get the book, you feel like that book wound up topping out, I think, at 80. It topped out at 80. So when you get that book and you hold it in your hands, man, it's like you do not wonder.
A solid chunk of story.
Yeah, you do not wonder where your money went, And so what we want to do is we want to, if you're going to go that route and we're going to ask you to pay that price, we want to make sure that we're giving you at least 60 pages of story, And if we can put in some extras, and we can put in some sketches, and we can put in some character bios and stuff, and blow it up to 70, then that's what we want to do.
Hell yeah. Awesome, man. Well, we kind of did a whole lot of meandering and geeking out about stuff. I didn't get a chance to ask you about the story, but when you're ready to promote the next campaign, I'm gonna have you on. We'll do a new book, Who Dis, and
100%.
We'll talk about that, man.
100%, right? Brother. 100%.
All right, I'm gonna switch my camera. Okay, that's not necessarily what I meant to do. Gonna switch my camera around, and then we're gonna sign off. Meow. And get this out of my face. All right, y'all. Thank you so much for coming to hang out here on a Saturday evening. Let me set this right. Anthony, thanks for hanging out. Thank you for this bitchin' looking book. I cannot wait to sit down and and tear through this.
Yeah, you're right, man. I appreciate you having me on, brother.
I appreciate you being here. Guys, thanks for hanging out. We're going to cut it out here because it is time to go.
Seems that envy is my sin.
Oh, what's in the box?
Not taking
What's in the fucking box?